running YouTube is psychology.
I know it is.
Totally,
you're very good at it.
I'm a psychological monster.
Very good at
My
it.
girlfriends fear me because they know the power I have up here.
No, I've watched a lot of yours.
I am running the biggest cult on YouTube. It's probably the biggest cult in Canada, but I can't call it a cult. I can't call it a cult.
Don't call it a cult.
But it really is. I could just give the command and all these fans would all over the world would cause mayhem or cause whatever if I just gave them the command.
Because if you call it a cult, you'll have to show them the gun room, wouldn't you?
No, I can't do that. It's already bad enough they've seen the chainsaw video.
Oh dear, yeah.
It was bad enough. Have you seen the chainsaw video yet?
I've seen it, but did you pull it off your channel?
I never had it on. Okay, I originally had the one with the dead pig on my channel.
I think somebody else had it.
No, but then there's the one that's still all over the internet of the live pig with the chainsaw.
I only saw a dead one.
Okay.
And it was bloody, and I watched it for.
No, the dead one wasn't bloody. The dead one had no blood. You didn't see the dead one.
Okay, then it was a live one.
There's the live one, which
This is where you dressed up.
No, the one I dressed up with a mask was the dead one. The one with the live one, I wasn't dressed up at all.
It's the real video.
It's the real video, and I gave my psycho guy laugh, which I've only used on YouTube once.
Yeah.
I used it with a pumpkin video, blowing up a pumpkin video. I used my psychotic laugh once, and the other one is just my Dracula laugh.
I know.
But then I have the Joker laugh. I have
you
about five.
You got quite a few.
I've got 5 different laughs. I've really perfected to the point where you can't beat them.
No, you got quite a few good ones actually. Yeah.
I can turn if you want to really see the brutal one that DAVIDSFARM was famous for 7 years ago, before there was such thing as DAVIDSFARM. That's bought a pig live, $75 for a pig roast on New Year's 2003, and just unloaded it out of my van, put it in the building, and when it walked onto the piece of big plastic that was spread out to catch the blood, shot it between the eyes. Yeah, it's perfectly clear. The bullet going between the eyes. It falls on the ground. It's just like doing its death convulsions.
Yeah.
And I had the chainsaw warmed up so it would start in one pull.
Yeah.
It started in one pull.
You did the laugh.
Then I did.
And
then no, I didn't do any laugh. I just zipped his head off in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But unbeknown to me, it
up,
was just like a chicken with its head cut off.
Yeah.
It came back to life with no head. Never seen that before.
No way.
Yeah,
totally
it did.
back to life with no head.
Yeah.
More alive than when it was walking around before we heard it.
Yeah, but now there's blood. There's blood.
Oh, blood is just squirting.
Now there's blood. Now there's blood on the tarpaulin. Yeah.
You put this on YouTube?
Which is
no. I put the dead one on YouTube. The one we bought already pre-cleaned. So
now the pig with no head can't get no grip, and it's falling down.
This video caused 2 murders, which I saved one of the newspaper stories. This video caused 2 murders.
How did it
Imitation people did it with people, imitated me, and the one person even went out and borrowed the money to buy exactly the same kind of chainsaw and choreographed it exactly like me. And that was in South Dakota. I have the newspaper story. So this video caused a murder in Canada and a murder in the States, and it caused a new Canadian criminal law. It's true.
It's hard to say that it caused a murder. Somebody caused a murder.
My video was used in court as evidence, not knowing who it was, as evidence in South Dakota, to give a black woman she killed her lesbian lover. Her lesbian lover had an affair, a white woman. This skinny white woman was dating this black woman, this black lesbian, and the skinny white woman had an affair on her. I don't know if it was with a guy or a girl. And so this black woman had fallen in love with my video that's on all these sites on the internet. I have 2 viral videos before YouTube. It's the redneck roller coaster and the chainsaw pig.
Yeah.
And so she had watched this video hundreds and hundreds of times over and over again. And I've met several people that told me the same.
Promotional consideration furnished by the town of Nazi-ville. I mean Lucan. And by
thing. It's either the kind of video it's the worst, most shocking video you ever saw in your life, or it's the kind of video which you think this is the most creative, bizarre, because it's got comedy and extreme gore. So this is the most. It's either the best video they ever saw or the worst video they ever saw. It's all you can't class it in between. Yeah. And so many people I met became addicted to it. So this woman was addicted to it. So when she killed her lover for revenge for the the fooling around. It said she had to borrow the money. Besides, I used a $700 Stihl chainsaw. She had to borrow the money
To buy a Stihl
to
chainsaw.
buy the same brand, same kind of chainsaw.
Chainsaw,
She
yeah.
choreographed her stunt and everything she did exactly the way I did it, and killed her lover the same way. And they had to play the video in court to show the jury why she did it like this.
Yeah, and that's how. Yeah.
Then the Canadian was in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick, and what happened with him? This guy in his 20s, he was a bit psycho. He was also a hunter. For some reason, he hated his old neighbors. They were in their 70s. So he stabbed the woman to death, and with his hunting knife, and he took a chainsaw, I don't know if it's his, and cut the guy's head off with the chainsaw. And then he crossed the border into Maine, and they caught him at the border with the bloody chainsaw, the bloody knife, and because he had a hunter's license, he said, "Oh, I was just chopping up a deer I had killed and gutted, and I cut his head off the chainsaw, and that's why I have this stuff in my trunk." But they thought it was suspicious, so what they did was they took his license number down. Well, 2 days later, they found the bodies, and it was obvious one was cut off with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then they found the guy in Maine, and they brought him back to Canada, and he got a life sentence too, and the woman in South Dakota got a life sentence too. And then what they did after that was they made a new law in Canada that said it's not illegal to do what I did, but it's illegal to post any type of video for shock purposes, even if you killed the thing humanely, and even if you ate it afterwards like we did. We killed it humanely, we ate it afterwards. But because it was such a shock video, there's a new law that was made 3 years ago that I can never do that again, or anybody does it again, at least in Canada. It's a criminal charge.
But the funny thing there is, if most of the people that eat meat and pork and bacon went
It was
to the
actually
went to
humane.
the slaughterhouse,
It wouldn't be much
and
different.
saw exactly what goes on
All
there,
they do is shoot them in the head
They
and cut their
wouldn't-
throat.
they wouldn't have a bacon sarnie
But
again
the
in their
difference
life,
is,
would
as soon as that chainsaw in 2 seconds severed the spine,
Yeah.
the pig felt no pain. But the
Yeah.
fact that the pig came back to life and was fully animated,
they? Nerves.
I
the
know it
nerves
was.
running,
He couldn't
yeah.
feel any pain. But the thing
Yeah.
is, our
dead.
emotions make us
Yeah.
feel like it's alive and it's feeling
Yeah.
pain and this is
Yeah.
gory and this is horrible.
Yeah.
But the way they do it, just slash their throat and they're sitting there screaming and squealing out the hole in their throat and they're bleeding
Yeah.
to death. That's painful.
Yeah. But then there's the one, someone edited one, didn't they? There's
Oh,
another one up there
the
with
haters,
squealing and all sorts of stuff going on.
he didn't actually. This pig didn't actually squeal.
No, but there's an edited one.
Oh, they
someone
added
made.
squealing
They added
to it?
all squealing.
Oh, there's no squealing
There's 4
in
or
my
5
video.
up there, Dave. There's different
Oh,
ones.
I haven't
yeah.
seen the headed.
Yeah, people have made some really
Yeah.
nasty ones.
Until
yeah.
the Hater Club came along, all
Yeah.
those 4 years or 5 years
Right.
before the haters found out about
Yeah.
this, no one had edited it incorrectly. It was always showing
Yeah.
it got shot first, and it was all cool. Like it was the full criminal investigation by the police. It was a multinational investigation between Canada and the U.S.
Yeah.
because I posted it on an American video site first, and then the Canadian they realized it was a Canadian, and I gave them the whole video, 20 minutes long, showing unloading it from the vehicle, killing it, gutting it, washing it, and then
Yeah.
cooking it. And they said, well, you didn't do anything illegal, but they made a new law after that.
What do they think people do with deers? They go
The
and shoot a
thing
deer.
is,
you go and
I
shoot a deer, just the same.
used my acting, and I'm very good with my
Yeah, I know.
laughs, and I had that psychotic laugh, which I don't very often
Yeah,
use
the
because
crazy,
it scares people.
crazy man
It
laugh.
scares people.
That's what the law is. You're not allowed to laugh like
You
that.
can't laugh. You can do it. You can
You
chop up
can't.
whatever
You
you like.
can't kill
but you
someone.
can't laugh.
You can't kill someone and enjoy it. I guess.